My name is Natalie Cross. I'm 34 years old, and I'm about to tell you the story of how my parents blamed me for my brother's death and what happened when the truth finally came out. I was 16 years old when my brother died. His name was Daniel. He was 14. He was my best friend. He was the only person in my family who ever made me feel like I mattered. It was a Tuesday. I remember because I had a history test that day. I was supposed to pick Daniel up from school. I was supposed to walk him home. I was supposed to protect him. But I didn't. I forgot. I was studying. I was distracted. I was a teenager, and I forgot. Daniel rode his bike home from school. He was hit by a car at the intersection of Maple and Oak. The driver didn't stop. They never found him. Daniel died at the scene. I found out when a police officer came to the door. My mother opened it. She screamed. She collapsed. My father caught her. He held her. He cried. I had never seen my father cry before. And then my mother looked at me. She looked at me with the coldest expression I had ever seen. She said, "Where were you? Where were you when your brother needed you?" I said, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was studying. I forgot. I'm so sorry." She said, "You forgot? You forgot about your brother? You forgot to protect him? You killed him. You killed my son." I didn't argue. I couldn't argue. Because I believed her. I believed I had killed my brother. I believed it was my fault. I believed it for 18 years. The funeral was 4 days later. The church was packed. Everyone was there. My relatives, my parents' friends, Daniel's friends, teachers from his school. Everyone. I sat in the front row. I sat next to my mother. She didn't look at me. She didn't touch me. She acted like I wasn't there. During the service, the minister talked about Daniel. He talked about what a good boy he was. He talked about what a bright future he had. He talked about how he was taken too soon. Then my mother stood up. She walked to the podium. She spoke. She said, "Daniel was my everything. He was my son. He was my heart. And he was taken from me. He was taken from me because someone wasn't there to protect him. Someone who should have been there. Someone who was supposed to be watching him. But she wasn't. She was too busy with her own life. Too busy with her own selfishness. Too busy to care." Everyone looked at me. Everyone knew she was talking about me. I could feel their eyes on me. I could feel their judgment. I could feel their hatred. I didn't cry. I didn't move. I just sat there. I took it. I believed every word she said. I didn't go home after the funeral. I couldn't. My mother wouldn't let me. She said, "You're not welcome here. You killed my son. You don't belong in this house." I slept on my best friend's couch for 3 weeks. Then I moved into a small room in a boarding house. I worked at a diner after school. I saved money. I finished high school. I went to college on a scholarship. I didn't go home. I didn't call. I didn't write. I didn't visit. My parents didn't call me. They didn't write. They didn't visit. My mother told everyone I was troubled. She told everyone I was dangerous. She told everyone I was capable of anything. She made me the villain. She made me the monster. She made me the reason her son was dead. I believed her. I believed I was a monster. I believed I was dangerous. I believed I was capable of anything. I carried that guilt for 18 years. I carried it through college. I carried it through my career. I carried it through my relationships. I carried it everywhere. I didn't let anyone get close to me. I didn't let anyone love me. I didn't let anyone see the real me. Because the real me was a killer. The real me was a monster. The real me had killed her brother. 18 years after Daniel died, I got a phone call. It was from a detective. His name was Detective Harris. He was with the cold case unit. "Miss Cross," he said, "my name is Detective Harris. I've been reviewing your brother's case. There are some things I need to discuss with you, things that were never properly investigated." I said, "What things?" He said, "I'd like to meet with you in person. Is that possible?" I said yes. I was nervous. I was scared. I didn't know what to expect. We met at a coffee shop near my apartment. Detective Harris was in his 50s. He had gray hair and kind eyes. He looked like a grandfather. He looked like someone who had seen too much pain. "Miss Cross," he said, "I've been looking at your brother's case. I've been looking at it for the past year, and I found some things that concern me." "What things?" He said, "I found evidence that the driver who hit your brother wasn't a stranger. I found evidence that the driver was someone your family knew, someone who was close to your family." I said, "What? Who?" He said, "I can't tell you that yet. I'm still investigating. But I can tell you that the driver was looking for your brother. He was waiting for him. He knew his route. He knew his schedule. He knew exactly where and when to find him." I was shaking. I said, "Why? Why would anyone want to hurt my brother?" He said, "I don't know yet, but I think your parents might know. I think your parents might have known all along." Detective Harris showed me the file. It was thick. It was full of evidence, things I had never seen before. There was a witness statement from a woman who had seen a car parked near the intersection where Daniel was hit. She said the car was there for an hour before the accident. She said the driver was watching the school. She said the driver was waiting. There was a police report that had been filed the day before Daniel died. Someone had reported a car matching the description. Someone had reported a car following Daniel. Someone had reported a car that looked like it was stalking him. There was a phone record, Daniel's phone. He had been calling someone for weeks, someone he was scared of, someone he was trying to avoid. I said, "Why didn't I know about this? Why didn't my parents know about this?" Detective Harris said, "I don't know. I don't know why these reports were never followed up. I don't know why the witness statements were never taken seriously. I don't know why the phone records were never investigated." He paused. He looked at me. He said, "But I think your parents knew. I think they knew about the car. I think they knew about the stalker. I think they knew about everything. And I think they blamed you to cover it up." I went to see my mother. It was the first time I had been in her house in 18 years. The house looked the same. It was frozen in time. It was like Daniel had died yesterday. My mother opened the door. She was older. Her hair was gray. Her face was wrinkled. She looked tired. She looked defeated. "Natalie," she said, "what are you doing here?" I said, "Mom, I need to talk to you. I need to ask you about Daniel." She said, "There's nothing to talk about. It was your fault. You killed him. You were supposed to be there. You weren't. End of story." I said, "Mom, that's not what happened. There was a car. There was a stalker. There was someone following him. Someone who was waiting for him. Someone who knew his route. Someone who knew his schedule. Someone who knew exactly when and where to find him." She said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I'm talking about the fact that you knew. You knew about the car. You knew about the stalker. You knew someone was following him. You knew and you didn't say anything. You knew and you blamed me anyway." My father walked into the room. He was older too. He looked like a shadow of himself. He looked like he had been carrying a secret for 18 years. "Your mother didn't know," he said. "She didn't know. I didn't tell her. I didn't tell anyone." I said, "What? What are you talking about?" He sat down on the couch. He put his head in his hands. He said, "The car belonged to me. The stalker was me. I was the one following Daniel. I was the one who hit him. I killed my own son. I stared at my father. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I couldn't process it. He said, I didn't mean to hurt him. I was just trying to scare him. I was angry. He had found out something. He had found out about my affair. He had found out about the money. He was going to tell your mother. He was going to destroy me. I just wanted to scare him. I didn't mean to hit him. I didn't mean to kill him. I didn't mean to do it. I said, you killed him. You killed your own son. And then you let me take the blame. You let me believe it was my fault. You let me carry that guilt for 18 years. He said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have told the truth. I should have confessed. I should have done the right thing. But I was scared. I was a coward. My mother started screaming. She screamed at my father. She screamed at me. She screamed at everyone. She was hysterical. You killed my son? You killed my son? You made me believe it was Natalie? You made me hate my own daughter? You took everything from me. Everything. She collapsed. She was crying. She was shaking. She was broken. My father sat there. He was crying too. He said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to make this right. I don't know how to fix this. I just wanted to protect myself. I just wanted to protect my secret. I said, you protected yourself. You protected your secret. You didn't protect anyone else. You let me believe I killed my brother. You let me believe I was a monster. You let me carry that weight for 18 years. You stole my life. You stole my future. You stole everything. I called Detective Harris. I told him what my father had confessed. I told him everything. He came to the house. He arrested my father. He read him his rights. He put him in the back of the police car. He drove him away. My mother was in shock. She didn't say anything. She just sat there. She looked like she had aged 20 years in one day. I didn't stay. I couldn't stay. I couldn't be in that house anymore. I walked out. I never went back. My father was charged with vehicular manslaughter. He was also charged with obstruction of justice. He was also charged with perjury. He was also charged with something else. Something that would keep him in prison for a long time. The trial was 6 months later. My father pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to 15 years. My mother didn't come to the sentencing. She didn't come to anything. After the trial, I went to therapy. I went to a grief counselor. I went to a trauma specialist. I needed help. I needed to process what had happened. Therapy was hard. It was the hardest thing I have ever done. I had to face 18 years of guilt. I had to face 18 years of shame. I had to face 18 years of believing I was a monster. But I did it. I faced it. I worked through it. I started to heal. I learned that I wasn't a killer. I learned that I wasn't a monster. I learned that I wasn't responsible for my brother's death. I learned that I was a victim too. I was a victim of my father's lies. I was a victim of my mother's blame. I was a victim of my own guilt. I went to Daniel's grave. It was the first time I had visited it in 10 years. I brought flowers. I brought a letter. I brought everything I had never been able to say. Daniel, I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. I'm sorry I didn't know what was happening. I'm sorry I believed I killed you. I'm sorry I carried that guilt for so long. I put the flowers on his grave. I read the letter out loud. It was a letter telling him everything, telling him about the truth, telling him about our father, telling him about the lies, telling him about the healing. At the end, I said, I love you, Daniel. I've always loved you, and I will never forget you. I walked away from his grave. I felt lighter. I felt freer. I felt like I had finally been released from a cage I had been trapped in for 18 years. A few months after I visited Daniel's grave, I got a letter in the mail. It was from my father. He had written it from prison. The letter was short. It said, "Natalie, I know you'll never forgive me. I don't expect you to. I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I need you to know that I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for the lies. I'm sorry for the blame. I'm sorry for the guilt. I'm sorry for taking your brother from you. I'm sorry for taking your life from you. I'm sorry for everything. I will never forgive myself. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I need you to know that I'm sorry." I read the letter. I read it twice. Then I put it away. I didn't respond. I didn't call. I didn't write. I didn't visit. I couldn't forgive him. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I was starting to accept what had happened. I was starting to move on. I was starting to build a new life. If you've ever been blamed for something you didn't do, I want you to hear something. The guilt isn't yours. The blame isn't yours. The shame isn't yours. You were a victim. You were manipulated. You were lied to. You were blamed for things that weren't your fault. The truth will set you free. It might not come quickly. It might not come easily, but it will come. And when it does, you will be free. You will be free from the guilt. You will be free from the shame. You will be free from the blame. My name is Natalie Cross. I'm 34 years old. I was blamed for my brother's death, and I am finally free. If this story made you feel something, drop a comment below. Tell me the word that describes what you feel. Share this video with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. Subscribe for more stories like this. Thank you for listening to mine.